We've got Sarabi here, Alina, playing Zarya first. We don't have a Lucio. But generally, Zarya, a good bubble management is needed. I think Alina's around Diamond. Like low, high Diamond. Something like 3200, 3100. So yeah, especially with the Zarya, we're going to be looking at bubble usage, positioning, ults, generally staying alive, how much damage we put out, all the good stuff, all the good stuff. We're instantly going to go self-bubble in front of our Reinhardt. Now normally, I'm a big fan of this, but because the enemy team is playing a Winston and a Hammond, I'd be a little bit more careful doing this. Can keep your bubble a little safer, I think, but overall this is okay, especially in ranked, right? You're not gonna get punished in Diamond for doing this. Let's see when we ally bubble here. We ally bubble the Reinhardt as he pins. That's pretty good. We definitely want to be shooting the Hammond right now, yeah. There we go. And we want to make sure we're staying alive. Oh, well, we're not gonna be doing that part. I think instead of going in front of the Reinhardt, maybe we could have just bubbled the Reinhardt and then played a little bit safer and then self-bubbled after. Right? Because now it's such an aggro self-bubble against a Cole. That's a little bit weird. I think the ally bubble's good. And then while our self-bubble's down, we want to play a lot more passive, right? Especially because we're 2 down already. Both our supports died. So maybe instead of even bubbling the Reinhardt, we could have bubbled a support, but I don't blame Alina too much for not bubbling a support there. Bubbling Rein is pretty standard and just good, and he's pinning as well. We do see that the Ana has 1 HP in front of us, but okay. And then here we see we're 2 down, so we're Zarya. We should already be looking at back a lot, right? Because it's just very, very risky to stay in a Zarya when you really want to get out with some energy. You want to stay alive the whole time, farm your ult, right? Zarya's ult actually takes very long to farm, but we end up staying in, end up dying. It's a tough call because we kind of just got stuffed and wrecked, but we could have done a little bit more. Then we swap to the D.va right now. I think D.va is a good swap here because Zarya, mostly good. I mean, Zarya would still be okay here, but Zarya's not that good at peeling, right? She's better against like slower tanks, like the Reinhardt, like an enemy Zarya, like maybe the Roadhog, right? But the enemy team is playing Winston Hammond. They got the hard dive with the Winston Hammond, so they're always going to go for the back line. It's kind of what they need to do with this, and D.va is actually a great pick for this, because D.va is kind of a shotgun tank, where she does like a shit ton of damage when she's close range to people, and she has a bunch of ways to get close range to people. And she obviously has that matrix, where she can block a lot of that damage on the supports of that. Okay, so their Hammond slams in. Winston comes in too. Like into the Winston. We're not using the micro missiles here at all. I'm pretty sure this was a really good time to just micro missiles the Winston here. Like right here. If you use these micro missiles, that Winston's gonna be like half HP in no time. Definitely want to make sure we use those. And you can just use them while also shooting, right? So that's great. Now we're using the micro missiles. That's fine. We're trying to matrix the slam now twice. That doesn't work. So our matrix usage has been pretty poor so far. Trying to get through these little mines. Okay, that matrix was okay. I think so far, and I'll show you this, chat, what I'm really looking out for. It's like this kind of matrix, right? It's really not that good because we're matrixing nothing, right? Matrix only goes where you're aiming it, so we should just make the flight happen and then 180 and then matrix, right? We could also recharge a little bit more matrix then. It's small stuff like that, but in general, we've been misusing our matrix this whole time we're playing D.Va. I think one thing that's pretty good on D.Va too is if you boop somebody and then stop right in front of them. And then you can just shoot them in the face instead of what Alina does now. She doesn't cancel the shift, or she cancels it late. So now she's disoriented. Has a hard time aiming at the Mercy. And we're matrixing the Mercy. We're matrixing the air again. Okay, that was okay matrix, right? Because we tried to block a shot. But boop and melee is good for when people are low too. Yeah, you can boop melee. But either way, just putting yourself right in front of the opponent is very strong. What is this? D.Va bomb. I think actually right now in ranked, and just in general, a really good use of D.Va bomb is just use it to remake. And especially when you have to peel like this, we can't just go in and D.Va bomb like this. Like this first initial matrix, that's really good, right? Because you don't just want to be sitting on full matrix for no reason, right? You always want to be using it a little bit. So this is okay, right? We come in here, we matrix a little bit for our tracer in the tracer duel, and this is not a big deal at all, right? But we matrix just a little bit up until here, then we let it recharge again, right? And we want to make sure that we always have like a lot of matrix, but we also don't just sit on full matrix. And then when something important happens, like that McCree ult earlier, you can full matrix it. D.Va does really well at really close ranges, right? So we need to use LOS properly so we get in range. So maybe instead of standing out in the open, we can use the bongo right now, or we can play on the right side of the map. There's a little bit more cover there. This was decent matrix usage. Again, we didn't have much of it, but the usage is good. We're also using cover. This is good. This was good micro missiles. Okay. They stay in cover. We're slept. Fine, now we get to recharge our matrix because we're slept. That's great. I kind of like this, like going on the Ashe who's alone. But she wasn't really alone, right? So maybe we can be a little more fluent in like our movement here. We kind of just shift on her when we have zero matrix from across the map. Ends up not being too good for us. But like this is what I'm talking about, right? Because we saved the D.Va bomb, we're now gonna get to use it. And we're probably gonna get the remake here. So it's like an extra life you can use the D.Va bomb as a lot, I feel. And that's a really good usage of it. This is really good. This was perfect, right? Because now we were in a spot where we were already close to the enemy team. We shift in. We're right on top of the Ashe. We're probably going to kill her here. Yeah, you got it. Nice show. We also kill the Ana. So even though, you know, we're not using the D.Va matrix properly, we're still doing work on the D.Va. That was good movement. That's exactly what you want to do. That's what D.Va's really good at, right? Going onto squishies that are alone, and then getting in range, using our micro missiles, bursting them down, and using our mobility in general. That was exactly what we want to do in the D.Va. And then the second thing is just peeling. But since they are now playing Reinhardt Sigma, we didn't need to peel anymore, right? The last map, we didn't do a very good job peeling. When they were playing the Winston ball. But now, you know, we don't need peel, so it's good. I think the biggest thing is just matrix. I think the biggest tip I can give is just use it a little bit for when the poke wars are happening, right? Don't use all of it. Just use a little bit every time. Just use a slight little bit. So this is the D.Va matrix bar. And then you go to like here. And then you just let this be like the lowest area you let it go to. Until something big happens, right? Until like an engage happens, both Reinhardt start swinging, and then you can matrix your Reinhardt, or until their Winston jumps in, or like something happens that breaks open the whole fight. Oh, we can't see the epic pen. Oh, my bad. That breaks open the whole fight. and then you use like the rest of your matrix, right? To really like use it all. You feel like your matrix usage is really liberal. I mean, it's not bad to use it liberally. I'm just saying, if you're playing the whole fight on like 0 matrix, you're probably doing something wrong. Because if you look at a lot of the owl divas, they won't use like a lot of this, like the lower bar, until something actually happens, right? Like both Winston bubbles go down, and the diva full matrix is their Winston bubble or the enemy Reaper, because that's when the engage blows out. That's when you can deny the enemy team, or their Winston jumps on your backline, their Tracer follows up, so you matrix the Tracer, right? That kind of stuff. You really want to make sure you're saving a lot of your matrix for when something actually happens. It's like one of the biggest things on Diva. 2, we need to make sure we use cover better, right? And then make sure, you know, we don't hog all our support resources. And then once the fight's broken out, maybe we can look for a DPS like you did on the Ashe. Or you can look for Peel, right? We don't want to be taking so much damage just in the neutral, because we don't do much damage at range, so we really don't want to be peeking at long range, which is what we were doing a lot. Oh, the micro myth, you forget they exist. Yeah, I noticed that. You just didn't use it for like a long time, and then you use them at really awkward times. But just almost use them whenever somebody's in like really close range, right? And you can also use them while you're matrixing, so it becomes really good. Use them in poke. You really, they do like some damage at long range, but I think in general you just want to use them when enemy team is pretty close.